So the soup is done. It's had 20 minutes. It's still bubbling nicely, so I'm going to simply slide it over there and carefully place my nice heavy cast iron frying pan stroke skillet. This is what's going to do the business for me with the chapatis. So you can see I'm completely ready there, boards sprinkled. So let's get the chapati mix out of the tub. It's alive. Well, it is alive, yeah. It's like kimchi in that sense, it's alive. Because it has overnight to begin a very gentle, very mild fermentation process. So I shall use my knife and pull out a piece. So there's a random piece of dough. And I shall give it a little roll like that. Oh, I need to turn up the heat for the chapati, so let's whack the heat right up. So I've given it a nice little roll. It's nearly rounded. And I'm going to give it a little roll with a rolling pin. There are different ways of doing this, and anyone in India will be saying, but there's another way to do it, and you're quite right. There is another way to do it. There's many ways actually. So I'm just giving a little bit of a roll and turning over. I think I got a bit more flour than I really need, so I'll just move a bit off to one side there. Yeah, it's plenty. And I'm turning it and changing the orientation slightly each time. And because it's been left overnight, when you cook it, it will entertain you. So we're going to get some free entertainment coming up shortly now. Starting to look interesting, isn't it? So you can see how the spices have worked their way into that dough. And I do like my dough to be super thin. It's all preference. The thinner the dough, the quicker it cooks. The thicker the dough, the slower it cooks. Generally speaking, you'll find people prefer to make a thin dough. And look at that size. You wouldn't have thought that tiny little piece would produce such a big one, but it has, hasn't it? So I'm now going to focus my attention on the pan. There we go. See, it's been used before. I hold my hand above the pan and I can feel the heat radiating, so that's good enough for me. So I'm going to lay this into the pan like so. Give it a little bit of a shake like that, just to smooth it out. And that is now cooking. It's having its own alchemical experience. Better move that bowl away from the chapati pan. And you can notice the steam rising up. That's the first thing that you notice. It's really great to decline into what I call minuteness with such an experience, and to pay attention to all the little details because it's such fun. And you can see that this little bit of blistering which started when it was on the board is increasing. And I'm enjoying the colours. Now can you see that the little bubbly bits underneath are getting larger, particularly around here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to flip it. There we go. Now look at the way those bubbles start to rise up now. It really is alive. And now it's starting to puff. That's a puffing action which only takes place when the dough's been left to stand for a while. And a little bit of brown, so I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit because it's really doing its thing very nicely. And I'm going to flip it again. Oh yeah, look at that. Now it's starting to have a real exciting thing going on. It's got a lovely feel to it. I need to get all my ingredients ready. I've got a lovely unpasteurized cheddar. I'm going to be having this with a little bit of salt-free butter. Flip it again, and you know, you could go on forever, but it's like I am at this point absolutely ravenous. I still haven't had breakfast yet. 10 to 1, what a day, what a day. So I'm going to say yes, let's have it. Okay, another 5 seconds on that side. Heat off. Let's shift our attention back to the board again. There it goes. And just look how pretty. Chapati art. So now I'm going to put in a minuscule amount of butter. Look, hardly any. I'm going to run the knife around. Listen to that sound. Delightful. A little bit of this cheese. This cheese is full of vitamin K2, very good for decalcifying the pineal gland, and it's the antidote to fluoride in the body. I'm going to add some, well, obviously it goes in almost everything I create, bit of kimchi onto the chapati, and that's going to do some interesting things with my flavour buds. And then some lettuce, some freshly sliced lettuce on top. Fold the thing in half, and it's time for the moment. Soft. The softness. The warmth. The spices. Didn't get any cheese that time. That's, well, it's really doing it for me. Yeah. Well, the plan is to have this and serve it with the soup. So a bit of miso, vitamin K2. This vitamin K is also antiviral, anti-naughty viruses, as well as decalcifying the pineal gland. A little bit of juice goes on top of that miso, and I just give it a little stir in. And now let's have some. The seaweed in strands. I love it when the seaweed does that. Typical Korean style. Korean soup's always got your seaweed in strands. Now what you can do is you can cook rice, and I especially recommend Keith's special rice. Do your recipe on that in a bit, and you can add that to your soup. But what we're going to do is we're going to get some kimchi in there, of course. Let's have a decent amount of kimchi. Just stir that in, and now we have a flavour orchestra. That's really all I can say. There's an orchestra of flavours going on in there. The seaweed's got so many useful properties. Just Google it yourself. Can't be bothered to talk about it. And here we go. Here we go. Ah, it sings. It sings on the tongue. Well, that's definitely this film done, because I'm going to be well occupied. Cheers.